Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the DTS Pro Training webinar. This is Dr. Neeraj S. Rohida, and I am an orthodontist, and uh, I will be taking along this session in which we will be dealing about the different functionalities of the DTS Pro software. Uh, Let this be an interactive session. I will be happy to take any of the questions. I hope the screen is visible. I hope I am audible clearly. And if there are any questions at any point of time, I will be happy to stop it and definitely take it up there. So just to give you a brief introduction about today's webinar, this should be roughly around a 30 to 40 minutes session. Now, I would like to divide this whole webinar into two parts, or I would like to divide the functionality of the software in two gross parts. The first part is the patient motivational part, where the software can be used to generate very quick simulations for patient motivation right in the first visit. And the second part I will be dealing with is the digital treatment planning and the lab communication part. So I once again welcome you all to this session, and let us start with this session. If there is any issue with the audio, video, anything, please feel free to send me a message. I hope the sound is clear at my end till now. Right. So that's the opening screen of the software. Let me upload a patient's single extraoral image. And let me start by uploading an extraoral image. I will be talking you through a little bit of photography protocol that is needed for the DTS Pro software. So here, let me start by just cropping up the image a bit. Now, as the software carries out the facial recognition part, let me throw some light on the photography protocol. Now, there is no hard and fast rule as to using a mobile phone or a DSLR camera. As long as the picture is clear on the screen, it is not pixelated, it doesn't matter which device is being used to shoot the image. Having said that, I will just go to the next screen. As you can see, the smile line is marked by the software. The only prerequisite when we shoot photographs is have a slight open mouth position. So let me just come back here to the photograph. As you can see, the photograph has been shot with a slight open mouth position. As we go to the next screens, we will get a more thorough idea of why the importance of having an open mouth. But at this point of time, the only prerequisite I would like to emphasize is having a slight open mouth position. Now, typically in a clinical situation, a clinical tip is we can ask the patient to pronounce the letter A and smile wide. So A and wide. The moment patient says the letter A and smiles wide, you will automatically get a little bit of interincisal space there. So with that in place, let me come back to the screen, and that's the smile line that is marked by the software. In case your system doesn't have a graphic card and a dedicated graphic card, this might be a manual process that you will have to mark. So I am happy with the smile line that the software has marked for me. So I just proceed done and go to the next step. Again, the software has done the job of detecting the interpupillary line and marking my facial midline. Of course, we can move this if needed. I can shift the lines if I want to. Reasonably fine. And I press done. So as you can see, the photograph which was slightly canted has been straightened according to the interpupillary line. So now there are 4 screens on the software, as we just discussed in the initial part of the software, that in the initial part of the webinar, that we will be dividing the entire functionality into the patient motivational part and a digital treatment planning part. So the easiest and the quickest way to do a simulation is using the function called as instant smiles. So the moment I go to instant smiles, as you can see, the software has automatically overlaid the first template on the patient's overlapping on the patient's existing teeth. Now, there are these two control points which can be just used to get the best possible fit, right? And once I have positioned one template, I can just navigate through the different templates which are present and use the best one that I deem necessary. You can even go to the entire list of templates here and directly choose the one that you want to without having to fully navigate through the entire list. Say, for example, if I want this template, I would just navigate to that particular triangular 10 and go ahead and complete the simulation. You can even upload your own templates. I will come back to that in a bit. Right now, let me just stick to template number 1. I am good enough with this. So I will just do a little bit of modification, trying to get the best possible match here. Looks reasonably okay. Now there are two transparency tabs on the top, as you can see. I can use the template opacity bar to just reduce the transparency of the entire template. And this helps me get a proper fit using the underlying teeth. So that is the functionality of the first bar. And the second transparency bar helps me black out. So I can just black out everything else other than the teeth which are visible, or I can let the other teeth be visible. I would like to keep it somewhere in between. Once this is done, I will come to the preview section. Now here is where you can control the shade, the contrast, brightness to make it very, very natural. So I will go to the adjust tab. The first one, I can make the teeth whiter or make them a little on the yellowness gradient. We can control the brightness a bit, even reduce the contrast a bit. The second tab is the lip smoothness. As I increase, you see the template blends in with the underlying teeth, giving it a very natural feel. And the last is the gum texture. When I move it to the right, it turns my gum shade to orangish. And when I move it to the left, it makes the gums a little towards the pink shade. With that in position, my simulation is complete for the patient. If I am not happy with the position of the teeth, I can just go back, maybe do a very quick adjustment there, and it is done. So that's my simulation. The idea is to create a simulation in the shortest possible time. So you upload the picture, and by the time the patient is ready for his consultation, the simulation has to be ready for the patient to get the very initial patient motivational mockup. So this instant smiles feature can be used for most of the simulations. It can be used for your orthodontic simulations. It can be used for even veneers. It can be used for multiple missing teeth, severe crowding, complete denture patients without any teeth. So this is where the instant simulations can be used. And just to present to the patient in the form of a before-after video loop, you can, of course, export this in the form of a JPEG or a PNG image. You can get a print, or you can directly email it to the patients from the software interface itself. So that was the instant smiles feature. I hope this part is clear, and let me upload another picture where I would like to show the different functionalities, including the whitening, composite bonding simulations, veneers, and of course the digital treatment planning part. So I will again just crop the image. Again, as the software does its job of facial recognition, I would like to re-emphasize the point. Whenever shooting an image, always have a slight open mouth position so that you can individually simulate the upper and the lower jaws if needed. So my facial recognition is done, and I am on to the next screen where the software has detected the smile line for me. Looks reasonably okay. Again, the only prerequisite whenever there is a smile line selection is make sure all teeth are included within the selection. So you don't want a selection that ends here, for example. Your selection should, of course, I'm just trying to exaggerate that a bit, but your selection should completely enclose all the tooth material, right? If you want, suppose if you have added a point, if you want to add a point, you can just left click between any 2 points. And if you want to delete any control point, just right click on the points. There is a tip section which is there on each screen. So just in case you need to have a quick referral, you can just navigate to the tip section. Again, the software has detected the interpupillary line and selected the facial midline for me. I would like to move the facial midline a bit, and that is it. So again, as you can see, the software has straightened the image. Right. Now we are in the first screen that is called as Smile Editing Tools. Now on the screen, one of the simplest and the most useful tools is called as Extend tool. Now this tool can be used to simulate crown lengthenings, to simulate enameloplasties. So I can just left click and press in the direction where I want the gums to go. So as you can see, I am just left clicking my mouse, pressing it and just pushing the gingiva in an apical direction. So simulations are the only way where we can show patients results more so in reductive cases. Whenever there are additive cases, of course, there are other ways of getting the patients excited for their treatment, showing them the possible end results. But in cases wherever there is some form of reduction involved, crown lengthening being one of the clinical situations, this is a very simple and an effective tool to get the patients a visual understanding of the possible after effect of treatment. So let us just see what we have simulated. I will go to the preview screen and I will play this for the patient so that it becomes crystal clear of what exactly is the change that is going to happen once the gingiva has been shaped, right? I will come back to the screen. You can undo one step, redo, or you can undo the entire changes using the revert button. So with revert, everything will come back to square one. I will not be using that right now. So some more use of the Extend tool. Now you can control the size of the brush on the top there. I can just simulate some amount of enameloplasty. Not every patient is a case for a full mouth veneer or a full mouth smile design. There are simple cases where repairing an enamel chip, for example, doing a little bit of gingival zenith correction, some enameloplasty. So these are tools which can be used for such cases. Right. I can add a bit of whiteness to the teeth. So I've just used the whitening tool to whiten teeth, maybe make them a little bright. And that is my simulation. For enameloplasty, composite bonding, crown lengthening, and some whitening, right? Simple tools, doesn't take a lot of time, possibly less than 5 minutes, right from shooting an image to uploading it to creating a simulation. Again, the important point here is have an open mouth position. The more the said, the better. Always have an open mouth position, makes life easier, makes simulations a cakewalk. Right. Now, I will revert everything, come back to square one, and let us go to the veneer section where I will go a little bit in detail about digital treatment planning. So instant smiles typically will help us for the initial patient motivational mock-up. So we just choose an image, overlay it on the patient's teeth, get them excited for treatment. Whereas once you want to go into detailed treatment planning, I come to the veneer section and plan the treatment, and even I can communicate the same with my lab. So I can just navigate on the name of the veneers. These are the basic shapes. Of course, we can edit them, and I can upload the lower teeth as well. For now, we shall go ahead and just do the upper arch. We can upload 8 at a time, or you can eliminate a few, or you can just click on them and add the desired number of veneer templates. So let us plan for 8. We can add more also if needed. Now the first screen, the first controls that we get as soon as we insert veneers are 3 control points, which can be used to just get a gross fit of these veneers. So I will grossly align this. I will go a little slow here, explaining a bit about treatment planning. Of course, I will not discuss about the principles of aesthetic design. I will mainly concentrate on the functionality of the software and how can you use the different tools. Now you can check the facial midlines. You can check the interpupillary line and even the lines, the canine lines or the lines passing through the inner canthus of the eye. Right. Now you can individually control the size, shape or position of teeth. I can first select all and get a broad gross control. Once you have that, then you can right click and you can individually control, resize, reshape as you want to. So I just click here. I can just right click, resize and make this a little narrow. You can even plan one side and then mirror it on the other side. So let us do a very gross finishing and then we will insert textures. So that's my basic plan for 8 veneers for this patient. Of course, you can have multiple plans. You can have a simulation with 6 veneers in place. You can have a simulation with 8 or 10 or even more veneers in place and present to the patient as different treatment options. We will come to that. Right. Now I'm spending a little more time here because whatever is outlines I design will be sent to my lab so that they can replicate the same when they do the 3D designing using the overlay technique. In the end, I will also throw a little bit of light on the 2D to 3D workflow. Right. So that's my gross design. Maybe I'm not happy with the position of the gingival of the centrals. So I want to just limit them there. So if you want to select multiple templates, just press the control key and click. So for example, if I want to select my centrals, I have pressed my control key and clicked on the lateral. So I can select those particular templates. If I want to select centrals, I can just press the control key and select. And that's my design, which is reasonably okay with the design. You may want to opt to make these outlines a little rounded in case it's a female patient, or you would want to have it straight if you want to have a more dominant central incisor. So this is digital planning, which you can use and show it to the patient and also communicate it to the lab. Now, a couple of points here before I insert textures. As you can see, some part of the original tooth is visible outside my outline. So for example, if you can see this part of the centrals is visible here. If I want that to go even the lateral here, for example, so now either you might want to reposition that to cover it, or if you don't want to do that, just press apply and let us go to the first screen, that is smile editing tools. And now on the top, you will see a checkbox called as templates. You can use that same extend tool to just erase it. So any part of the tooth which is beyond the templates can easily be erased. I'm also adding some amount of gingiva so that it gives me a natural simulation. Now I come back here again and see that original tooth part is no longer visible, right? So that's my treatment planning. Now let us insert textures so that this case is ready for simulation. I can choose texture number 1. Let us see those. That's the simulation there. Of course, I would like to make the teeth a little bright. Those are my 8 veneers. Lip smoothness has to be up there so that it blends in well with the underlying image. And the most important tool, I always like to keep the opacity so that your veneers blend with the underlying tooth. So I would like to keep my opacity anywhere between 80 to 85. That can be a call which can be an individual preference. And that's my simulation for 8 veneers ready for the patient. Again, I can present it to the patient in the form of a before-after simulation there. Any changes that you want to do, you can easily go back. Maybe you would like to lengthen the centrals a bit. Apply texture and preview. So I have lengthened my centrals a bit. So this becomes a very important part of patient communication protocol. So whatever has been shown to the patient can also be communicated to the dental lab so that they use these templates as a guide when they design in 3D. I will just come to that in a bit. I am not happy with these teeth as they appear a little long to me. So I would want to just stick to the original length. I don't want to do any crown lengthening here. So again, I would like to stick to the gingival level. Looks fine to me. And that's my simulation. Again, reducing the opacity a bit so that it blends in with the underlying image. If you want to opt for some other texture, maybe let us choose texture number 2. Apply, preview, teeth appear too yellow, no worries. I can just go to the adjust tab. First of all, increase the brightness a bit. Make them whiter. Lip smoothness is good. And again, reduce my opacity. Absolutely natural looking simulation, something which appeals to the patient, can be communicated to the lab, and the results can be replicated the way it has been shown to the patient and planned, right? So that's my digital veneer planning. Of course, there are other tools which will help you in a little more of digital planning. There's a planning section here. Again, to re-emphasize, I am not going to talk about the principles of aesthetic dentistry. We are just going to limit of how you can use these tools. So my first tool is the smile curve. I can just use to check the position of my teeth based on the smile curve. And you can even follow the smile curve. So these are all tools which can be used for your DSD planning. Depends upon to what extent do you wish to use the software. If you just wish to use it for your patient motivation and not necessarily go into treatment planning and lab communication, it's a choice. But you can definitely have the control of designing the outline, sending it to the lab, and getting a more predictable workflow, right? So that's my smile line. There's a golden proportion guide in there, which you can use if you want to check the proportions of your designs. Again, there's a tip section here, and then there are explanatory videos which shall help you about each and every tool. We can definitely check the height width ratio of teeth. And just as a last point, if you want to communicate the measurements to the lab, you can calibrate the software. So whenever I'm calibrating the software, I will just enter a distance between two fixed points. So that should be measured either inside the patient's mouth, or that can be measured on the patient's model. Say, for example, that is 20 millimeters. My software is calibrated, and now you can actually measure, and then this goes to the lab. So the technician knows the increase in the tooth length that the dentist wants, and he uses this as an outline to carry out the final 3D design. So that's how you can use the software for digital planning as well as lab communication. I know this session proves to be slightly inadequate in understanding the entire intricacies of each and every tool, and our support team will be happy to help you in case you need any further help on using of these tools in your routine practice. So coming back to our simulation, I would like to talk on one last part of inserting textures, and then I will be happy to take any questions if at all. So that is something which we have shown to the patient. We have digitally designed and communicated it to the lab. As far as inserting textures go, we have used textures from the library. Now we can also use texture from the patient's own teeth. Say, for example, patient has got a good shade of teeth. We just want to change the shape but maintain the shade. So how do you simulate this? I have gone to something called a self texture. Now in this case, of course, I will just select on the left with a mouse click, and just click and drag and press apply. So what this has done is it has taken texture from the patient's own tooth and inserted it. Of course, this needs to be done tooth by tooth. So multiple ways of inserting textures. You can either use the texture from the library, or you can use the patient's own tooth texture, or you can use any other image from which you have to fill in texture. So you can browse the image and just fill it tooth by tooth. So just showing you the workflow of how to insert texture. Just doing it tooth by tooth. If a particular tooth doesn't have a good texture, you can always use the adjacent tooth. Don't press apply all in this case, because when you're doing it tooth by tooth, there is to be certain gradations of shade. So always better to do it tooth by tooth. And that is it. Let's go to preview. So as you can see here, I haven't changed the patient's shade. We have just changed the shape, lengthened teeth. Again, we can just increase the brightness a bit, make them whiter. And that is it. So different ways in which we can carry out simulation, either using textures from the library or using textures from the patient's own teeth, and again presented to the patient in the form of a before after simulation there. Right. So I think using these two images, I have tried to give you an overview of the entire functionality. Of course, there are ways in which we can upload both the extraoral and the intraoral retracted image and overlay it. But at this point of time, I do not want to go into a lot of complexities of simulation. Of course, there are detailed tutorials available on the website of each and every step, but this is more for an overview of the software. And I am open to any questions, or if there is something that anybody of you would want me to just discuss or throw light upon, I'll be happy to help you on that. So we are open to take any questions at this point of time. If anybody has any questions, you can either unmute yourself and just talk with me, or you can just type it in the chat box there.
Hi, Neeraj.
Hi.
What is the basis function that's there on the side?
Yeah. Right. So braces is typically, these are templates which can be used to show the patient different types of brackets. So it's more for an educational purpose. So I can just insert different brackets. It's an age where everybody wants to see how different things would look on their smile before committing to any form of treatment. So these are just tools to help the patient educate. So again, you can change the position of each and every bracket. I don't want to go into a lot of details on that, but you can, with a single click, show the patients different brackets. So I can just choose to show them how, for example, metal brackets or ceramic brackets or say self-ligating brackets would look on their smile. So these are more like templates to give them an idea of the different bracket options.
Also, another thing that I noticed when I was doing it is if I upload a retracted image as well as a smile image, the image mapping function comes, I mean, it doesn't allow you to go further than that. And I couldn't really figure out what that image mapping was. So if you can just tell me in short what I'm supposed to do if I put that image as well.
Right. So I'll very quickly maybe upload. I don't think I have a retracted image right here, but let me very quickly upload a retracted image as well. Sorry for the delay. Second. For most simulations, as we have seen, a single extraoral image is more than sufficient to carry out the simulations. But when detailed treatment planning has to be done, or if the extraoral image doesn't show you the gingival level, you may choose to upload both the extraoral as well as the retracted image. So let me very quickly open a patient's extraoral image. Now, whenever we are uploading both extraoral as well as retracted images, the only thing that matters is it has to be taken at a similar angulation. So I will just come to that once I upload the patient's retracted image. So that's the patient's retracted image. That's a smile line which is selected. That's the patient's midline. Now, in the image mapping, basically we have to overlay the extraoral as well as the retracted image. So we have marked 2 points on the extraoral as well as 2 points on the retracted image and get the best possible fit. Now, a typical issue which comes up with many images is it is sometimes a little difficult to get the extraoral as well as the retracted image in the exact same angulation. Now, even here, as you can see, it's a reasonable fit, but there is a little bit of discrepancy. So because of which the software also allows you to import STL files or 3D files of the patient and then exactly overlay it on the image. Again, there are tutorials which are there on the website. I would not want to go into a lot of details about overlaying extraoral image and an STL file. But I hope this step is clear where I have overlaid the extraoral and the retracted image. And now when I'm planning, say for example, when I want to plan, you can insert these veneers. We will not do the entire designing aspect here, just to show you. And you can actually then check the position when you are planning on the retracted image, yet you can check the position on the extraoral image. So that is where mapping comes in. Where you want to go into a detailed treatment planning, you can use the mapping function.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So again, we can use these same planning tools. Now, as we can see, the advantage of our retracted images, we can see the tissues very clearly. So the planning is even more in detail. And of course, you can just overlay it on the extraoral image and see the position of the new teeth in the mouth. So there is a question, how do you send this to the lab for planning? So in the planning window itself, we can just export the templates of the image. And of course, this goes to the lab in the form of a JPEG image. And the lab would then use these outlines and use it for 3D planning. Just to give you a little update on the DTS workflow. So this is of course the 2D workflow, but the first quarter next year, we will be releasing our 3D software as well, the DTS 3D Pro, where the 2D outline can be used for a 3D digital wax-up. So DTS 3D will give you an option of integrating face scans, patient photographs, intraoral scans that could be STL, PLY or OBJ files, and doing the digital wax-up and sending it for exports. It will also allow you to print your gingival guides. So anything that has been planned, for example, in DTS 2D, say for example, using the extend tool, if I have planned my new position of gingiva, shown it to the patient on the photograph, this same new position can be used to print the 3D gingival guide. So that can be exactly used for getting new gingival outline. So that is where DTS 3D is headed to. And I hope first quarter next year should be available for use. So just a little update on the same.
So will that automatically be updated in our software as well, or how does that work?
That would be notified to all the users once it is released.
Okay.
So